This careless mother abandoned her children to indulge in her own desires, and the judge was resolute in holding her accountable.
So how did you come to be in the car with him?
Because he was taking me to go get some tea for the kids.
So you're riding around in a car with somebody with a to go get food for your children? Where are your children?
My mom.
Child Protective Services involved?
My case already been closed.
Were your rights terminated?
Well, I talked to her, the case was closed, but I really didn't even ask her.
So you didn't think to ask her about your rights to your children?
The phone cut off. We were talking about the kids and everything.
How often are you using?
I'm using it daily.
So how are you supporting your children?
For my kids, I get the child support for them.
So you were using your children's child support to support you.
When you ask how was I supporting my kids?
Half of this story that she's telling me, I find it all suspect. I don't know if CPS is doing their job or not, so I'm going to have to do it. All right, the court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. Court is calling 2022 CR 9445, State of Texas versus Veronica Alvarez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Debbie Cruz on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Defense.
Karen Thornton, defending.
And are you Veronica Alvarez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna need you to make sure that you speak up so that the court reporter can hear. Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Alvarez, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a $1,000 fine, and the state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years, that there be a TAP evaluation and 120 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No comment.
State any evidence to support the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, state introduces the state's exhibit number 1 and all of its attachments. No objection.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
I would like to, yes.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Says that you followed the plea bargain. My client really didn't have a record, and I do believe it's a good candidate for our probation.
All right, do you have any children?
Yes.
How many?
4,
What are their ages?
6, 8, 11, and 15.
How old are you?
35.
Where are your children?
My mom.
Child Protective Services involved?
My case already been closed.
Were your rights terminated? So what ended up happening?
Before I came in here, my mom had she told me, well, I talked to her this past week, and she said the case was closed, but I really didn't even ask her.
So you didn't think to ask her about your rights to your children?
The phone cut off. We were talking about the kids and everything.
All right, how often are you using? How often are you using?
I was using it daily.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I was there daily.
I don't understand what she's saying.
How often were you using the drugs? That's what she's asking you.
Out there.
How do you use daily? Do you use it every other day? Do you use it weekly? How often are you using drugs?
Always using it daily.
Do you have employment? Did you have employment while you were in the free world?
No.
When's the last time you had employment?
It's been a couple of years.
So how are you supporting your children?
Well, for my kids, I get the child support for them. And if I did work, it was temp services.
So you were using your children's child support to support you and your children.
Well, you asked how was I supporting my kids?
No, kids or baby goats.
I would do, and then I had a boyfriend, so he would work.
And this boyfriend you had, is he the father of these children?
The last one, yes.
Mm-hmm. And who is Orlin Archaga, who you were in the car with? Who is that?
My friend. He was a friend.
What does that mean? He's a friend.
I
Is this a
mean,
boyfriend?
No,
Were you intimate with him?
no.
So how did you come to be in the car with him?
Because he was taking me to go get some tea for the kids.
So you're riding around in a car with somebody with a crack pipe or a pipe used for to go get food for your children?
Well, he was just my ride to go and take me back home. That was it.
Okay. Does your mother not have a vehicle?
Well, mom lives far from me. Where I live at, she lives far.
So where were your children when you went to go on this ride to get something for them?
At our apartment?
By themselves?
No.
Well, who was with them?
My dad.
All right, I half of this story that she's telling me, I find it all suspect. But this is what we're going to do. I'm going to send it to you because I'm sure CPS is, I don't know if CPS is doing their job or not, so I'm going to have to do it. What is your mother's name?
Gloria Gaona.
Gloria Guyana? All right, the court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's going to be a TAP evaluation while in custody. And if the TAP recommends inpatient treatment, she's going to inpatient treatment. So it's following all recommendations of TAP. I'm going to run a referral to felony drug court. There's to be no contact. Well, no in-person contact with minors until further notice, and that includes her children. Counsel, once she's completed drug treatment, then the court will always reconsider. I'm going to want the UA hotline upon release, weekly testing. I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month upon release until further notice. And please tell them to look and make sure that there are no minors there. There's to be no contact with Orlin, O-R-L-E-N, Sandick, S-A-N-D-I-C-K, Gutierrez, Archaga, A-R-C-H-A-G-A. There's to be 120 hours community service restitution. I'm going to ask for intensive parenting classes. And once that's completed, the community service hours will be satisfied. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's $57 restitution to Bexar County Lab for testing. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Probation, if you want to count the field visits as her reporting, you can. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No.
All right, showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. You're gonna have to start being a better parent to your children. Thank you.
When this arrogant woman defied the judge, things took an unexpected turn.
I'm gonna want a TAP evaluation done and follow all TAP recommendations. From here on out, everything that you do in your life, there are 2 questions you should ask yourself before doing them. Is this something that could result in me going to prison for life? If the answer is yes, don't do it.
Did she learn her lesson?
I don't think she's a good candidate for probation. She was supposed to sign the conditions, the TAP recommended inpatient treatment, and she didn't do it. And we can't do this thing where I order somebody to follow the TAP recommendations and the TAP says inpatient, and then somebody says, I'm not signing to go to inpatient. And then what ends up happening when reality hits that your range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life, then people come before the court and they want to say, oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Now I will do inpatient treatment. So that's where we are. All right, I'll sentence her to 5 years in the prison.